Sweet.
It's time for Verbal Tap, the show that proves fighting is way easier from outside the cage. I am your host. Oh, don't screw that up. I'm your host, Kevin. With me, of course, Raf
Come on.
Esparza. Raf, I'm just so excited because you're engaged. And I couldn't wait to get to your name and announce, with me as always, who will soon be with someone as always.
That's a terrible way of saying that.
No,
you know
it's
that,
not.
right?
It's a little unique. So don't I get some unique
But
points?
think about
Like,
how
don't
you're
I get,
saying.
like,
You're saying
mild
with
unique points?
me is a person who's with someone else. Like, it's just weird. You understand that, right?
I guess I see your point that it is a little off-putting. That aside, we have a show to do, sir, and Clark Gracie is on it.
That he is.
Clark Gracie's on the show tonight. Or today, or this
Yeah.
morning, or whenever the fuck people are listening. I'll stop singing.
Whenever
in
you're
case
listening
were
to it,
wondering.
that's the important
that is the
Audience
important
members,
thing.
When you listen to it, that's the most important time.
We have a very hot topic to start with before we get to Metamoris 3, which is also, a fight featuring Clark Gracie. UFC Masters Division happened in Brazil this past Sunday. Raf, Dan Hendo.
Not what it was called. No.
Are you sure? It was Mauricio Shogun Rua versus Dan Hendo Henderson. I'm pretty sure it was a Masters Division
Just
match.
being mean to the youthfully challenged Dan Henderson.
Youthfully Challenged is so much meaner than Masters Division in my.
No, it's not. It's,
Well, I
it's
leave it
being
to the fans.
entirely polite to Dan Henderson, who was born a while ago.
Entirely. Anyway,
I'm pretty sure the medical associations refer to youthfully challenged as the appropriate way to respond to those moments.
there is no way I could argue with you because I'm having a little trouble following your line of logic. Use some big words in the middle. Medical something. Raf, would you stand in front of Dan Henderson's Hendo bomb, that hard right, as he's leaving the clinch?
No.
What about for $200,000?
Nope.
You still no.
No.
200 was my number. So here's how this match ends, and it's gorgeous. It really is beautiful. It's round 3. Dan Henderson gets Mauricio in the clinch, and Mauricio had stunned Hendo a few times in the fight, by the way. I watched a very nice bootleg version of this. And I think Yugoslavian. It's hard to tell. And then Dan Hendo sort of just steps back. He brings his right leg back. He's in the clinch. And he separates from Rua as he pulls him and just throws this mean right. Puts it deep in his skull and knocks out Shogun. Because Shogun went to his knees and Dan Henderson hit him so hard in the face. So hard at the face.
The thing I saw that was sad was that look on Shogun's face. I'm actually looking. Ow! I just saw it right now. I did another legal stream to go look at it. And if you are coming after me from the UFC, I fucking have Fight Pass. I just don't want to go through the 9 hours it takes for me to get on there. But okay, I'm looking at this YouTube clip, and boom! Ow!
He's just you don't recover from that. There's no amount of recovery.
Oh, it's the fall after that really hurts. Because so after Herb stops it,
Hits him so
then
hard.
you see Shogun drop like a sack of potatoes the other way. So he just falls back.
Not a great sign. I'm no
Oh,
medical
no.
professional, but that is a terrible sign when that happens. That's
That does seem to be bad in most fights.
Raf, it was kind of fun
Okay.
as an American
Okay.
when CV Dalloway also beat Cesar Ferreira via violent strikes. 13 total strikes, but knocks him out really quickly into round 1. Not much to say. I mean, this is kind of what we used to see back in the olden days of MMA. Just a quick knockout.
Oh, God. Yeah,
Are you
I
saying "Oh
thought
God" to
I
my
saw
accent?
a
Or
highlight clip of this.
yeah, you
I
probably.
am
It was a short one.
both. Okay, hold on. He TKOs him in 40 seconds. I'm going to watch this right now while I'm talking to you, so I have a frame of reference.
Cool. I'll
I
just
am,
start talking about Norman Park, who has the
please
funniest
do.
name with the craziest tattoos. He's got like a woman screaming into a city, like a katana thing going on. It looks like like a martial arts film on the left side of his
I would
body.
like to stop you right now because I'm looking at a Fox Sports interview with CB Dalloway, and his listening face looks very distrusting.
Yeah, his default face is distrusting.
It's just like they're asking him to walk him through the fight, and he's just kind of like looking at the interviewer lady and just like, "What do you want?"
With a
Like
fresh
what?
helping of bitch on his
Oh,
face.
boom! Ow! 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 Good
Oh,
for him.
you're watching it on UFC Fight Pass right now.
No, not at all.
Interesting.
I would go
Oh
look it
no!
up on Fight Pass, but you know what, Kevin?
Oh,
The
that's
difference
right.
is
You're still watching a bootleg copy because it's super annoying.
no. Actually, I'm watching the Fox Sports one. No, I would watch it on Fight Pass, but the thing is, I don't have time to fucking watch the whole event, and I'd watch the whole event. Would you want me to not talk to you the whole time that we're doing this podcast and watch the event?
Frankly, I don't know how you phrase that. Did you say, was there an option where I could vote for you to not talk? Because, yeah, that's my dream, Raph. That's what I've been working towards.
But then you're just a
this
giant
entire time.
schizophrenic the entire time.
People, yeah, I mean, fair. I'm not saying for the audience's sake it's better. That's why you're here. I understand that I need to be tempered. That doesn't change that I desire to be alone and just screaming in the
Hey,
darkness.
Kevin, did you agree with me? Yes, I did. Oh,
Let's
good
talk about how
job,
great
buddy.
your commentary was, Kevin, and then we'll talk about the fights. Yes, Kevin, that's a great way to continue on with your Kevinness.
Raf's not
and
here
it'll
to
be
ruin everything and tell us how wrong we are.
Raf's not going to logically
Kevin
drive this
time,
podcast
yeah.
like a dickhead. I'm taking this one straight north to south. I don't know what that means, and you shouldn't either. That's my shtick. So, Santos v. Park has no decision
Well,
next
this
to
is
it.
why that I am around.
That's
Okay.
why. But Fabio Maldonado, winner via decision.
Okay.
That's all I got. I really didn't watch this. I did not see this fight.
There were two rear naked chokes, so
This
good
wasn't
for
one of
them
them.
over Scott Jorgensen. That sucks.
Michel
Uh,
Yara's move.
You can tell what kind of weekend we both had, where we're just looking it up on Wikipedia to talk to you all about it now. We can tell you that Park was deducted 1 point for grabbing Santos's shorts in round 2,
Cool.
so that happened.
It just says
Kasimov was deducted 2 points, one for an illegal head kick in round 1, and another for grabbing the cage in round 2.
been there, right? I mean, who hasn't? Where you're
Oh
like, "Yeah, I gotta
shit!
grab
Yeah,
the-"
because the decisions were 30-25s.
It wasn't the greatest. I mean, it was a good night of fights, but it's hard to see because they're all on UFC Fight Pass.
But Kevin, have you ever seen, like, when was the last time you can remember a 30-25 scorecard? And not just that, but unanimous 30-25s.
I really can't. I don't think I've ever seen it go completely.
That's crazy. But that's a
side
great
scale.
strategy, because if you're losing, why not grab the fucking fence?
That's true.
Why
if you
not
are
do a
losing,
single
why
head
not
kick?
stretch? Why not go for the next thing? What else would you possibly employ? Like, why not pull out a chair?
Right, I was about to say, I was like, how many points do you get deducted if somebody throws a weapon into the octagon?
And by no fault of your own, you're not saying you paid them beforehand to throw a wrench
Clearly not.
onto your side. You're just saying if someone threw a wrench, is it really the ultimate fighter? Or is it, with your horseshit rules where I can't hit my opponent with a wrench? Draw a hard line, Dana. That's what I say to you. That would be my
this
sale.
is a weird one, because did you know that there was a fight that got canceled?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I did not.
So,
Sorry.
Diego Brando
Moscato.
was expected to face Will Chope at the event, and both men weighed in successfully on March 22nd for the fight. However, and this is the part I did know, After the weigh-ins, the bout was canceled when documents were released that showed Shope assaulted and threatened his ex-wife, which led to jail time and a dishonorable discharge from the U.S. Air Force.
Jesus.
So my thing is this: how does this happen a day before a fight?
That's a fair point. What the fuck was he doing a week before the fight? Was he fine? Was he like level and on board? That's a good.
Like,
What? So these are the moments when it's just like UFC. There are good fighters out there, and not to say that he isn't. I mean, they're just people that are fighting. Like, what's his pro record that this shit happens?
would they have not done it if he had made the weight? If he had not made the weight, where they're like, well, let's not go out and really embarrass him, or like the timing of that is insane.
It's. I'm also not 1,000% sure I get a night before. Like, that's genuinely so he weighed in and there were no problems whatsoever.
I don't know. I figure that there are worse
He
things.
showed up at weigh-ins, Raf. Like, it's not like he missed weigh-ins altogether. He was there prepared to fight 24 hours before the fight.
So is that something that they ask you in like your pre-screen when you do go into weigh-ins? It's like,
Or is it
have you
something
made
they
weight?
forgot and they were like, "Hey, by the
Cool.
way, are you
Did you kill your
supposed
wife?
to be
You did?
active in the military right
Oh
now?"
no.
It's a standard question that we ask right before you go out to fight. We wait until that moment.
It's kind of a terrible story to have all of that then be sprung on this. But the reason why I think it was worth bringing up, that's a weird thing to find out. Just timing.
Is that the weirdest no fight show we've ever seen?
I would like to say so.
Top
but
10.
I'm sure
It's got to be like
somebody
top
out
10.
there could tell us differently. So, find us at verbaltapcast.com.
And please,
and
by
let
the
us
way,
know.
please find us. If you have a story that's more bizarre than that for a fight getting canceled, for the love of God, send it in.
But, like, on the other hand, you're also thinking just the way it read when I read it after the weigh-ins and they said the fight's canceled. I just didn't believe it. Like, something logically didn't connect. And I think this is where you're at as well, where you just go, but how and what? I'm still confused. Like, even reading it, you go, well, that's just weird. So
That doesn't make any sense.
it's a terrible story. I'm super confused.
I'd love to hear Dana talk about
let's
it
agree
more.
to never have it happen again. Yeah?
Okay, yeah. And I'll watch out for you if you get booked on a fight card. I'll make sure that your military service background and
Thank you.
felony charges
Please do.
are all in line. That's just what you get with me, Raf. Hey, Chris Weidman is injured. They're going to have to postpone 173. Johnny Hendricks, not Jimmy, as one poor MMA professional writer made the mistake of earlier.
Who was that?
It was on Twitter. I don't remember exactly, but somebody was like, Jimi Hendrix is injured, the fighter. It's like, no, he's not. Johnny Hendrix is injured. And my question to you, Raf, are wrestlers just huge pussies? Is that the problem?
I like that you put that question at me so that people can direct their hate mail at me. I will tell you this. The wrestlers who I know are good Americans. They're tough as fucking nails. And this is America. And in America, you can live you know what it is? It's unfortunate because these people just fucking, when they fight, they're giving their all. And we knew Johnny Hendricks, in his fight, even he was saying shit was fucked up for him. You could see his hand, and he just didn't look quite 100%. And then you take into consideration with Weidman, they said that he needed a minor surgery and that they're going to try and push it back to the July card. And guess who has stepped up to potentially try and take the fight with Lyoto now?
Who?
I'll give you a hint. He's not young.
Oh, Belfort?
Well, no, but still not young.
Anderson Silva? That would be weird.
Well,
Dan Hendo?
Yes.
Is it Hendo?
The youthfully challenged Dan Henderson.
Dan, don't you need to like go to Florida for a few months or something to get resident up before you start fighting people?
Who's really the one being offensive? Let's try
That's
and figure
me.
that part out.
I'm without question being like super old offensive for no reason whatsoever. It's like Dan Anderson's that old, and I'm attacking it like a rabid pit bull. Raf, I am charged up tonight.
Like him on Shogun.
Hey, zing! So
I know that reference because I looked it up on YouTube. Yay!
I watched it. I was there.
Watch that fight on YouTube.
You want to transition this and go talk to some Clark Gracie?
Yeah, let's do that.
And he is actually going to be doing, and I'm definitely looking this up, he is going to be in the next 3-4 weeks doing seminars in Richmond, Virginia, and Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yes. He actually texted me where it is. Yup. Are you excited? Do you want to hear where it is?
I actually do, because I might go to the one in Richmond.
Yeah. I was stoked when he was telling us they would be going down there. And I was like, man, Kevin gets one, because Kevin never gets this.
Well, it's still a few hours away, and it kind of depends on the weekend. So.
Okay. He gave us a link to the Facebook page, which we will put on our write-up of this episode. I believe you can get in touch with Liz at richmondbjj.com. It's going to be April 12th and 13th, and you can get seminar info from there.
Wow. Sorry, I'm just writing this down. Perfect.
Like Kevin's looking up all the information himself right now and being like, I'm going to have to go to this.
Well, just
Kevin,
like to put
do me a
myself
favor,
in
though.
the ear of the viewer.
You cannot lose your shit around him.
Oh, wait. Well, let's talk off air, Raf. Let's go to break while we discuss that, because...
So people who are listening, this is a heads up on how many things are going. Saturday is sold out, so you guys need to get your tickets ASAP, or at least get in contact and see if they're having another date or they have more spaces available. So it's going quickly, as one would imagine with Clark Gracie.
Verbal Tap listeners, we have been teasing that we might have this guest on. This is a big one for Raf and I. We're really excited. He's fighting on the Metamoris 3 card and fighting at about any other major grappling championship you can find. On the line, Clark Gracie. Clark, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Doing very well. We're excited to get to talk to you. I saw an interview you were doing. You were doing a little instructional on YouTube about the omoplata, and it was something I hadn't been drilling at all. Raf and I both practice jiu-jitsu. So I went in and I talked to my instructor. I was like, hey, I saw some things from Clark talking about omoplatas. I saw you drilling it, and then you inspired almost like a 45-minute seminar where our instructor and some of our other top belts were like, oh yeah, let's start drilling it. And you've inspired a big wave over the last month in that game. So I owe you a thank you up front.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm really glad that I can inspire some people to do such a powerful move.
Do you get that a lot now that jiu-jitsu's become so YouTube friendly and medium with people Googling you from all around the country? Do you get a lot of people being like, oh yeah, I saw your match, and you've just never seen them before?
Yeah, I got a lot of people talking to me about it, certain matches that I've had, and omoplata especially, but I've noticed like some private lessons that I've been doing just like with some other students, they always ask me about omoplata, how to finish it, how to get into it. And I think it's a really underrated move, underestimated to see how powerful it can be. And how hard it is to actually escape an omoplata if someone knows how to maintain it. So
I noticed it opened up my side control, especially half guard. It really sort of opened up my half guard options as I was fighting from that position. So
I do want to ask, when was the moment that you felt a strong command of it, or you felt inclined to start using that?
I think probably when I was like a purple belt, brown belt, there's a certain a sweep that I used to use a lot, and a little setup combination that I'd use from the guard, from the close guard especially, and I just started finding it more and more places, and once I got it, I started figuring out ways to not lose it. And, you know, my dad, Clark Gracie, he would tell me a lot. You know, once you get into a submission, don't lose it. You know, make sure you finish that submission. Don't give the guy a chance to escape and have to re-transition into another attack. You know, once you get something, you know, go all the way with it. That should be the end of the road for your opponent. So that's kind of something that I've been practicing and for a while, and especially with omoplata, I get it. I want to make sure that I can finish it. Like any submission, but omoplata, I just see is for some reason I'm able to see it a lot more often than maybe some other people. I see when other people are rolling, omoplata's there, you know.
And I know that a lot of people who listen to us were interested in kind of the history of where, you know, you and it intersected. What I've always wanted to know is, at what point did you have a mastery over the photogenicness of said omoplata?
Well, that just happened by accident, actually. I mean, I was in New York, and I believe it was 2012, doing the New York Open, and in my match against Triviola, he's a really strong guy. I got him on the omoplata, but he lifted me up, and before I could stop him from picking me up, before I knew it, I was dangling off his shoulder in the air, and I thought, like, wow, like, I'm not going to let this go, but I hope some people are taking some good pictures of this, because I'm like, resistant right now.
And the thing is, Clark, I have to ask, I just, like, you've seen all of the memes. Do you have a favorite?
No, not really. You know, I see them all, but, you know, I take it kind of lightly. It's kind of a joke, funny to me. You know, I think it's funny that it went as far as it did, and I mean, that's cool. You know, it's cool just to have a recognition outside of the jiu-jitsu community. You know, people are seeing it outside of jiu-jitsu and start to, you know, see jiu-jitsu growing into more and more of a mainstream martial art. More people doing jiu-jitsu nowadays, so even more recognized.
Of course. And I was just happy for you because when I saw it, normally the internet breaks you down, but that's one where you look at and you go, wait, they're doing a photo of me because I looked good? Cool.
It's a very positive photo. One of my friends who knows nothing about jiu-jitsu, she just knew that I mentioned it, sends me that picture. And this was like 3 years later. This was a year ago. And it was just like, I guess, you know, you've transcended the community, which is good.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, a lot of people that don't do jiu-jitsu, they think, they ask me, how could you stay so calm in such a bad position? They think I'm getting, like, slammed or something. But, you know, I have to let people know that don't do jiu-jitsu that I'm actually in really good control of the fight at that moment. And, you know, it's funny, people think I'm getting, like, thrown on my head.
Actually, the other guy.
Like that, you know.
I blame professional wrestling. People must just assume that's what's happening. You are fighting on the Metamoris card. You're fighting Rafi Mendez, and we got to see your Metamoris Pro trailer, which was very cool. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing to prepare for Rafi Mendez, who has sort of it's a big scramble game, doing a lot over at Art of Jiu-Jitsu. What are you doing to prepare for that?
Well, I got some guys in my academy that play, you know, similar game to him, and, you know, he's got that very new jiu-jitsu in his own style, which is awesome. You know, it's another style that's been picking up really fast, and a lot of people are trying to play it. So, you know, he's a great competitor, and for me, it's a good challenge to go out and be able to compete against him. You know, I always admired him as a competitor, so now I'm going to have the opportunity to go up against him and go to war, so it should be fun.
If I could ask you, you know, we've heard a little bit that you've been training with Samir in preparation for this, right?
Yeah, I went up before the Pan Ams to Kyle Terra's camp, and you know, I was talking to Samir because he's also fighting Rafael and his brother, Guillermo Mendez. So, you know, I went up there, and also they're about the same size. You know, those guys are similar in size, so they play that game a little bit more than I do. So I wanted to see how I do with those guys and what kind of strategy I can come up with.
Speaking of strategy, because Samir was indicating to us, there is a very real possibility that the two of you would tag team against the Mendez brothers. True or false?
I don't understand. Tag team against them? What do you mean?
So the prompt was, "Hey, are you guys training together?" And he's like, "Yeah, we're going over strategies together." And I was like, "Well, what if you're in a bad position? Does Clark come in to try and rescue you and you guys are a tag team against them?" He's like, "Oh no, that's a real strategy we've talked about."
I think it was a joke. I think it was joking with you, but
If it was a joke, it was a wonderfully constructed one. I still don't understand it. But I'll tell you this much, Clark. You know, what do you think has been the value of going over to train with Caltera?
I think it's good. I think it's always good to train with different people, and every time I train with anybody who knows what they're doing, I always learn something. So even if I don't learn any technique, I might just learn how different and see. So it's always interesting.
Yeah, we were talking about how it would be amazing to watch you and Samir have a tag team match against the Mendez brothers. Like, we think people would pay big bucks to see that.
That's a very interesting idea. I never thought of that.
Tag, if you could just like almost Zach Morris Saved by the Bell time out the match and then tag in, it might work in jiu-jitsu, but we certainly have some kinks we need to iron out. So we will absolutely work on the ideas. You were training with Caltera in that camp right before the Pan Am Championships, is that right?
Correct.
How are the matches as you guys get closer to a big tournament and you're closer to Metamoris? Because you're trying to preserve your bodies, you don't want to get injured, but you're also trying to push yourself because you want to be competition ready. What's the training environment like?
Well, we've been training like long rounds, like very endurance based and just to make sure we don't tire out. So I'm feeling really good with my endurance. And then also a lot of specific training, finding ourselves in a bad position and how we can, work out of that bad spot and recover and working back towards an attack.
I also spend most of my time working out of bad positions. Let's call it specific training. Let's call it that. It'll sound a little better than me just getting beaten up on frequently. What's your endurance like in the sense of, do you train like 20-minute rounds? Do you train just a consecutive amount of 10-minute rounds? Like, how long is a long round?
Well, what I've been doing, I've been trying to do either 40 minutes or 60 minutes straight. And
damn,
I'll be having because a lot of people will really slow down the pace after 5 or 10 minutes. So I've been having like every 5 minutes someone new come in. So I'm really, I'm trying to make it so like I just don't want to be on the mat anymore. Just like.
Yeah, I was about to ask, what goes through your mind at minute 40?
Minute 40. Yeah, I mean, if I have some tough training partners, it can be pretty brutal. But honestly, I think the first 20 minutes is sometimes the worst, and then after you kind of go on cruise mode a little bit, and kind of preserve your energy, and just got to keep it going. A lot of times it's up to your mind and your heart to keep you moving, not just your physical ability.
And this is something that we're interested in because you have Pans and then you have Metamoris. Is there a difference in how you're training, or does it just all become one? Is there specific training for one and specific training for another?
Well, I've always really trained more for submission, and all my life, sometimes I didn't do so well in a competition because, I just didn't care about the points. I just want to go for the submission, and that's why I'm really, really excited about this match. I'm excited to do more submission-only tournaments because I think, sport jiu-jitsu is great, but it doesn't always show who's the best fighter. I mean, you guy could escape a bunch of submissions and still win because he wins on points.
Yeah, and so with the 20-minute submission only, your game plan probably stays almost exactly the same then. You just keep looking for submissions and you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, which is a nice thing. You don't have to worry about fighting against the clock because you're down on points and you got to make those points. You just, whether you're in a bad position or the guy passes your guard 10 times, you can still just work towards that one goal of finishing that fight.
I just like the opportunity affords from a viewership too, because it can be really confusing when you're watching IBJ. That's an understatement, to figure out who's winning. So you're seeing matches, and it's just like the guy's hand gets raised at the end, and you're like, what the fuck? How? I guess I don't get it. But at Metamoris, it's just such a pure, you get to just sort of relax. You don't have to worry your mind about that because you just get to watch, what is a very clear strategy based of working towards a single submission and not worrying about those tiny positional advantages, which is nice.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about the advantages. You don't have to worry about the points. So it's great.
This actually lends us to a question we really wanted to get your take on. You have been competing for a really long time, so you certainly understand that jiu-jitsu's a very loyal sport. But at Pans, we saw a lot of rounds getting closed out in the black belt final, which also really hurts from a viewership and just like a growth perspective, because you grow a lot as like viewers of those black belt rounds. What do you feel like is happening with the closeout of the final jiu-jitsu matches, and do you think we're going to see them sort of get past that and start figuring out a new way to do it?
It's a good question. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of things that could change in the federation, and I'm sure it will continue to change and develop into something hopefully better structured. But it gets difficult because there's not really any easy answers to that, because you train with maybe another top competitor who's your weight, and there's only so many people in the world, right? You're gonna run into each other, and some of those guys are gonna be on your team, and in the end, you just have to remember that it is just a sport, I think, and you're trying not to take it personally just because maybe you have to fight. I actually went to Brazil last year, fought in the Copa Podio, and with one of my best training partners, my partner here, Brandon Magana, who we train together every day. We had to fight in our first match at that tournament. So, but it was a round robin kind of scenario, Grand Prix tournament, and we had to go at it. They told us, well, if you're going to be in the tournament, then you guys may have to fight each other. You're okay with that? And I said, well, it's fine.
That's awesome. That's really cool. I hadn't heard that before. Raf and I have already decided we'll fight no matter what.
Well, keep in mind, Clark, this is a lot of what ifs. Like,
a lot of
we were
things
talking about closing out a
there,
black belt final. We have to advance about 1,000 years in experience and skill. And then we both have to make it, which I think is a very important step you're overlooking.
And agree on a weight class, which is a really funny. I have some Adidas questions, and I think Raf might also. Clark, you said you were telling us, which is really cool, you just signed with Adidas.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. They have some big plans to grow into the jiu-jitsu world, into the MMA world, and it's a place where their presence hasn't been very strong for the past years, and they're a big company. I've always liked their brand and good quality stuff, so I'm really excited to be working with them and see also jiu-jitsu getting recognized by such a big company. Seeing the presence of
no lie,
of Nike and Adidas and these big corporations, finding MMA and jiu-jitsu as a sport worthy to get into, because you see some other sports that are not as challenging, sometimes not as significant, not as just getting sponsored by these big corporations, and I think jiu-jitsu is well deserved to be in the major leagues, alongside with all these major sports.
I think you should demand your own shoe, though. I think we should get Clark Gracie Air Max.
Not that jiu-jitsu needs shoes, but you should just demand your own.
Fuck it.
That would be pretty cool.
Have you started?
It's time for some
and that's
tearaways,
important.
too.
But have
Sorry.
you started considering your own commercials? Because you should really just go pitch them to them. And if you need help with them, we're more than happy to come up with as many ideas as possible.
Yeah, that'd be great. I always
Absolutely.
appreciate you guys' feedback.
You just sort of jogging in your Adidas clothes. You could transition to the beach. You could have one of those cool mats ready. Now we're talking. Shoot that in HD. This is just me trying to get
I was
a
about
beach
to say,
trip,
I was like,
basically.
I like the idea of making them send him to wherever he wants to vacation. He's like, man, I really need to get to Belize.
Raf, how quickly, by the way, if we were on a shot with Clark Gracie, would it turn to us just asking him jiu-jitsu questions and drilling? I mean, minutes into the commercial? Like,
I
how
think
far
it would be
you get?
this. Clark, the concept of this commercial is teach me the omoplata. And he'd be like, okay, I don't understand. We can do this another time. No, this is crucial. I'm in
No,
it.
yeah, trust us. This is what people want to see. This is what Adidas is looking for. You'll have to definitely keep us posted as they start getting up the prototypes for rash guards and the equipment, because Raf and I love the equipment of jiu-jitsu, and to hear that Adidas is getting involved is awesome.
Yeah, Adidas getting into it. They've always made good stuff, and they're showing me the gi they're coming out with. They're asking me how I would modify it. So it's exciting to be part of the influence of their production.
You know,
in the
you were
jiu-jitsu world.
speaking you were speaking the gospel to me, because I was a kid who grew up with soccer all my life, and the prospect of a brand that I loved in soccer making a gi right now is making me take out my wallet right now. I
Just
literally
log
started
on
looking
early.
at how much money I can give them.
Just gonna send a $150 check to Adidas and just be
Well,
like,
it's
you know
gonna,
why?
it's just going to say
Put
it's a
gi
down payment,
in
probably. I don't know how much it's going to cost.
That's fantastic. Well, Clark, we know you have a time frame. You've got to get to training. You're also probably instructing a lot now. You just opened up a school in San Diego. That's right?
Yeah, I've been in northern San Diego, La Jolla, for a few years, and we just opened our new headquarters. This is in Old Town San Diego, just north of downtown, right by the airport. So you guys got to come visit sometime. Come check it out.
You know, Clark, I'm actually heading down to
shit.
San Diego this weekend. And unfortunately, I'm at a wedding. But next time I come down there, and I come down there a bit, I will stop by.
You got to sneak away at some point, man. Come in.
If I
No,
if I could get
super
away from a
jealous.
Mexican wedding this weekend, oh, I would.
They have weapons.
They do.
You
I'll
can't-
get
you can't just
stabbed
run
on the
away
way out
from
by one of my
those.
aunts. I guarantee you.
Have a Mexican wedding. Fun, very formal.
Well, Clark, are they?
Hope you're dressing up, man. But you got
Clark, we're going to be we'll be cheering for you on the 29th. We appreciate you stopping by the podcast a ton, and we'll make sure to stay in touch.
all right. Sounds good. Thanks a lot, guys.
It's essentially Jiu-Jitsu Christmas for Bulltap fans. That's the best way to put it. Metamoris 3 is coming up this Saturday, the 29th of March. I am obviously going to be buying the feed. Raf, you're going to be there.
I will.
You son of a... Thank you.
Just
Good
shut up.
podcast co-host. I mean,
Yes.
great journalistic partner. But fuck, you're going to just be right there.
I mean, I was there last year. I don't know
Someone
why
might
you're.
throw you a gi. I was jealous last year. I'm super
Yeah,
jealous
but
this year.
nobody's gonna. Why would somebody throw me a gi? First of all,
Because they might, Raf.
and then what am I supposed to do with that gi? That's just a gi I get, or are they expecting me to compete? Because no.
Either way, it's an honor. So I'm stoked to talk with you about these fights. We're going to go through each of them, talk a little bit about what we think and can expect, because you and I have not done that yet. I say that to say we have certainly talked about Metamoris 3, and we've done it in stunning fashion. This is a big shout out to Raf Esparza and his BJJ nemesis, Paul Moran from Open Mat Radio.
He really doesn't deserve any credit, though.
Okay, but the greatness in which you two approached me over in G-Chat was... Anyway, we did a group podcast PTI ESPN style grilling in which Raf moderated about the upcoming Metamoris. And if you have not seen it, please check it out. Raf, thank you very much for the inclusion.
You're welcome. I didn't really have a choice.
Okay, well, life's a choice. Help me. So Matt Kirtley from the Aesopian Project. Aesopian Project.
I don't even think he knows how to say his own brand name.
I swear I get told to say it a different way each time, but you know what? Matt Kirtley, always a pleasure.
Well, it's okay. It's pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead and just talk a little bit about things I really like, and yeah, it's going to be really cool. You can call it AC Open.
He does create awesome Magic cards. They're really artistically cool.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Lex Friedman from the Take It Uneasy podcast.
Yes, how are you?
He did. I like that you put him on a caveat of Russian references. If for anyone, Rap like puts rules on people quickly. It's not just me. If you thought it was, it is obviously me. All of our listeners are having no problem believing Raf puts people in rules.
I mean, the funny thing is I kind of like rules, like rules are... In Russia, we have many rules, and so I really like doing many rules.
This is me pouring more wine while you rock this. And Paul Moran from the aforementioned Open Met Radio, moderated by you, good sir. Ton of fun.
Yes, I had a blast doing it. And, Kevin, here's the thing. We love doing these kind of projects with other different brands and other different people that we like. And we wouldn't do it unless we actually like the people, except for Paul. And this was the first collaboration between the 5 of us. And I thought it was such a fun way to display the way that we all talk to each other, because we all get excited for these big events. And when you have all of these BJJ nerds who are spending, I can tell you, we've spent hours just going over the finer parts of jiu-jitsu, about who we think will win and why. And we realize those conversations are fun to us, and we hope they're fun to you guys. And I think they are. So we can't encourage you guys enough to go support our friends at ACOPN.com. They're Aesopian, whatever the fuck he calls it this week. OpenMatRadio.com. And the Take It Uneasy podcast. They're really cool, and they do something very different than us. Their podcasts are very unique and very cool. But I think we got to see a different side of them where they just kind of let loose, and we all have fun making fun of each other. And I don't think you see anything else like it. And all I can say is we had a blast. We hope you will too. So tune into it, and if you can, spread the word for us, because if you guys like these things, we can do some more. And I think we could even book some people who were on our friends list to maybe even stop by on those videos. Just saying.
Hey, that's a very much just saying. And obviously, questions and feedback are always helpful and appreciated. With that said, Raf Esparza, are you ready to talk Metamoris 3?
Yes, I am.
We're starting right up at the top, and there is a documentary released about the Eddie Bravo versus Royler Gracie thing that is on YouTube. It's one of the many things that I was watching while I should have been working today. Oh, screw it. Well, I was doing exactly what I should have been doing, which is watching Metamoris videos. But it showed like Eddie right after he had beaten Royler. Mm-hmm. And it was exactly what you would expect. He just has that glazed over look on his face like, I mean, this is jiu-jitsu. Like, it's really interesting. So we're going to start up top with Eddie Bravo versus Royler Gracie. What's a win for you? What do you think is like that would be a really cool thing to see in the fight?
Did you literally just take the question I moderated in our own panel that we did on the videos and say it to me?
Absolutely, but you didn't get to give your opinions, and I think the world wants to hear it, Raf.
Here's the thing, and we discussed a little bit about this on our preview show with all these people. For me personally, this has a cool factor of oh my god, we get to see these people compete again. I don't know what this means. I don't know what this match means for legacies. I don't think anybody gives a shit. I think you do see people, they do get slower as they get older. It just happens. I'm fucking slow as shit, and then I get older and I'm even slower. But there's something about watching two high level practitioners who represent very different philosophies in jiu-jitsu do battle, and to me, a win is just watching it, because worst case scenario, a lot of the times a jiu-jitsu match isn't great, but when it's good, you don't really even care about who the winner is. Sometimes you just learn and love taking something away from it. So that's the win, is seeing it. Seeing it is maybe the win. Let's say that. That's going to be the win.
Absolutely. I think it's actually going to be really cool. And yeah, sure. I mean, I'm not expecting to see Eddie Bravo and Hoyler at their best, but there's something about jiu-jitsu where you watch the guys that are older than you roll and you learn things.
Oh, this is a terrible promo line. They have it from bloodyelbow.com. And
What?
the quote on the actual Metamoris page is, "Many have tried to make this rematch before, and it has always fallen through. But this time, it might just stick."
Yeah, I do.
Now,
actually... Thanks for the "but this time." And
I
the
will
many
say
have
this.
tried. It's like, are you
You
speaking in
could have
iambic
literally
pentameter?
just let it go at, "and it has always fallen through, ellipsis, ... And it would have been a much better quotation. These are just ideas that we have as
Yeah,
producers.
but you have a journalism background, Raf, and you understand
But
that people
this
aren't
time it's
third
like,
graders. It's like,
sick.
how much
What
of
the
this?
shit?
What do you think you have to sell? If we're looking at your website, you dip bag, we know many have tried to make this rematch, and it's also, I think we also might be making fun of a non-English native speaker.
No.
Many have tried to make this rematch before. What? That's not.
But it's a bloody elbow, so that's a journalist quotation, and that's fine for an article. But when you're promoting an event, you don't have to say.
Many have tried
This
to
time
make this
might
rematch
just
before. It has always fallen through, and
It's
this
like,
time it might just
think
stick.
about saying that
Good?
to kids who are
Good?
waiting for Santa Claus to come on Christmas Eve, and guys, you've been pretty good all year, but maybe this year Santa, it just might stick this year. It's just like a weird sense of phrasing for false hope, when in actuality, I feel we're so close enough to it. Knock on wood, I am doing right now. We will see this match. So, yes, that is all I'll say to that. I am excited to see it. How about you?
I'm just kind of really stoked to see little Eddie Bravo competition. I like his game. I like the active guard. I like just sort of the craziness of the 10th Planet people. And it'll be always fun to see Hoyler. Hoyler was very much competing before my time in jiu-jitsu, but obviously it'll be interesting. So I'm looking forward to it. Screw it.
Yep.
Make it happen. I'm all about these old school rematches in jiu-jitsu. Fuck yes. Let's talk new school. And I think this is a fight that literally the Rafi Mendes versus Clark Gracie. This is, thankfully, we've already spoken to Clark, so he's not like around Raf.
Yeah, so we can speak frankly.
Yeah, we can talk frankly. I still think he's gonna. I think he's my favorite in this.
Okay.
But Rafi Mendes and Clark Gracie have very unique games. I cannot wait to see this fight. Like, this one, I am positively stoked about.
And
I'm
this
giddy.
is my rule of, do I vote for the guy with my name?
Uh-oh.
And
Yeah,
I
do.
maybe,
And this, guys, this is a thing that Raf, it's worked out really well for you. It's
I have a
important
very
to note
high
that.
winning percentage with going with people who share my name.
Stunningly, because I've gone against people with your name, and I have a stunningly low winning percentage.
I mean, you have a stunning
Ipso
low winning percentage
Raffo.
and everything. But
Thanks, Raf.
You're welcome. I'm so confused because I can't tell if the more people who do well with my name is great for my gambling ego, or continues to be terrible for my actual, like, jiu-jitsu like acumen ego. Like, wait, all these people named Raphael were good at jiu-jitsu except me? God damn it.
Fuck nuggets. Did you think fuck nuggets, or was that the first time?
I don't say that word.
Oh, fuck or nuggets, or just combined? You're like, no, I'm fine with both
You
words independently, but together.
you do the math. Yeah, I like both of them in different ways. Like nuggets, whatever, it's cool. But fuck nuggets is just like, why would I put those words together?
Hard to say, but who are you picking to win? I'm holding you to this. Who are you picking for Bravo? Who are you picking for Mendez versus Gracie?
All right, let's do this. I would like to see Hoyler win, if only because it prompts us to have a rematch in another 10 years.
That's genius. I'd like to see Bravo win. I'm sympathetic.
Okay. I love it too, and that's the thing is I have no other reason to go for Hoyler other that I love trilogies, and I love the ability to potentially watch them if this is another great match, which it could be. For Rafael and Clark, listen, we just had Clark on the podcast. That is a powerful, powerful thing.
It's a bond.
I can't vote against my name.
Good. I'm actually glad you're taking Raf because, first of all, I love him and I love watching him compete. I love it. Like I watch him all the time. But I'm going with Clark Gracie. I think he's going to win this match.
Okay.
I like his game. He's strong, and we're both like such good-looking people. We're obviously in the same bracket, Raf. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
like we're in the same. We're both in the South or the Midwest, whatever you want to call it, but we're in the same bracket, and I'm voting for
make any
Clark.
sense.
It
You're
makes so
trying
much
to
sense.
force a fucking March Madness comparison. Clark
Slash,
wouldn't even.
I was also trying to elevate my own looks into Clark's category. That was the hidden part of what I was doing.
We all got that part, and I was trying to just no. There was no hidden part of that. That was just a stupidly thin, veiled version of it that we all just like said, rolled our eyes collectively. I know our audience well.
Oh, particularly saucy tonight, Mrs. Esparza. Keaton Cornelius versus Vinny Magalois. Magales.
Oh my God.
Magales.
You don't know a name. You do not know a name. All right.
Also, a sneaky great fight. Like, props to the Metamoris teaming committee.
I think
here.
everybody got really excited about a lot of these matches just because the matchup seemed a little to the outside where you go, yeah, I'd want to see that. And this is a very cool fight in that you have the prodigy Keenan Cornelius, who's just destroying the tournament circuit.
So hot right now.
He's so hot right now.
He's
So hot. You know what it is? I feel like when we
That
ask
should be a
people who they're going to go
t-shirt.
for, what's
Keenan.
that? He's so
He's
hot.
so
right
hot
now.
right now.
I feel that if I get shit from Keenan, I will just accept it and I'll just look at him and go, "But you're so hot right now." I feel like he's gonna like roll his eyes, or he's just gonna play into it. Those are the only two scenarios that can happen. He may come up to me and just go like, "Hey, what's up, Hoff? I'm so hot right now. I heard." But the thing is Vinny is a great MMA grappler, and I think there's an interesting style matchup between the two of them. And the fact that this is no gi that we've been told, because we still don't get a clarification on this one.
No, it's no gi. I saw the promo. I watched it again today. It's no gi.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is when you look at the card on there, it's unlike boxing or a UFC event. They never have to delineate which is a gi or no gi. I feel there should be stars or pound signs next to their names.
I like that, or just like a gi symbol or not.
Ooh, a gi symbol's great, and especially for Bravo and Gracie, where you have like
half a gi symbol. Like it looks like hieroglyphics next to their name. It's like, well, that one it doesn't help, but the rest it's clear.
And then right next to it, it's got like a hand that has a circle just like drawn through it. That's like no hands touching the gi pants. Whatever the fuck those rules are. And I still like, I whatever those rules are, I have no idea what the fuck they are. But Keenan is so great, and I like seeing Vinny take this challenge. And you know what? I want to see Keenan win.
Yeah. First of all, it's going to be a good fight because Vinny's fucking dangerous
Correct.
and Vinny's inventive.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're inventive, you can fight anyone in anything, including jiu-jitsu. So that I'm excited about. But I do feel like Keenan's going to end up being too much for him in a grappling environment.
Mm.
That's just kind of how it feels like we're going. But you know what? Screw it. Team Vinny. That's my official. He's going to do something clever, like a really mean leg lock. I feel like that's the only way to really submit Keenan. I don't know.
Okay.
Never seen him get leg locked either. So
You're just throwing out whatever comes to mind. So, you know.
Dean Lister versus Renato Babalu Sobral. Haven't seen Babalu compete much recently. Absolutely excited based off of his arm tattoos.
Oh, was that really was starting to do it for you?
Way up there. Plus, the guy makes, he makes garments, which I think puts him as a preliminary person to talk to for verbal tap. We eventually start creating our rash guards.
It's true. I think once they really catch wind of our brand and they're like, describe your brand. We go, I don't know, dude.
Assholery.
Assholery is pretty spectacular. You know, I don't know. I think it's interesting because I remembered seeing a few months ago Babalu retiring from MMA. And now there's something really cool about seeing him come back to jiu-jitsu roots. And when you come back here and you take on Dean Lister, who, you know, has a nickname that basically implies scary good, there's something to be seen about that. And I think that it's easy money to say that Dean Lister is going to win. But sometimes I see Dean when he's in a match. I don't know if I'm the only person who feels this way, but sometimes I feel he gets bored in the match. Like he can end it a certain number of ways, but that he'll have maybe trying to get a foot lock and on his mind and go, nah, I didn't get that today, so we'll draw. I don't know. It's
so
just
we'll
a weird
draw.
thing to be.
I just like that. No, you're not wrong.
That's
He definitely
so
has like a default bored face.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the exact look you get when you're way deeper into a Fraser marathon than you wanted to get. And it just snaps on you. It's that exact face. But he had it during his promo, too. So maybe it's just like Dean Lister's default face is super apathetic.
It could just be his face. It's true. I don't know. He's got my support. I'd love to see it happen. And it's an interesting matchup. I don't know that this one has the potential to maybe be the biggest letdown of the tournament for some reason. I don't know. Do you feel that way?
Absolutely. Like this one,
just because there's so much uncertainty.
There's a lot of uncertainty. I agree. I think we know exactly what we probably will get out of the other matches. Like we just know the options. This is the one we have no clue.
Right. And I think there's a nice difference between some of the other ones, like, even though Hoffa and Clark and Keenan and Vinny are of a new generation that are building up, I feel once we get down to the next couple matches, it could be fucking fast and crazy action between these folks.
Fast and crazy. That's how I like my action.
Mm-hmm.
Jimenez Guy versus Samir Chantre. I have an early favorite here for Samir. I like him.
Oh,
in this match.
yeah.
I think he's an underdog. I don't know how, but he's training with the right people.
He is an underdog, I feel, in this one. It's hard to vote against the Mendez brothers, but what if, and follow me through this, okay? It's a little bit of a jump in logic.
I'm with you right now.
Okay, what if one Mendez brother wins and the other doesn't? What kind of drama can we make up that they're experiencing from that?
I think it's entirely dependent on which one you can master their accent better of.
Okay.
Because I do think there's a chance where, like, you know, Ruffy wins, Gi loses, and they have a Karate Kid moment. I mean, they probably won't, but for drama's sake, absolutely. It's like,
Because
this
like
is for a Mendez ride home.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to see the two of them like hug or something and like say nice things to each other or whatever. But when I come back from this event, I'm definitely going to be like, oh my God, you should have seen Hoffa trying to console Gi. It was not good. He hugged him for like 3 seconds, which is international for I'm disappointed in you. I don't want to put words in people's mouths, but that's literally what he was saying.
I'm not saying he did say it. I'm not saying he absolutely didn't, but I'm pretty sure he obviously positively said it.
So is it like selfish to ask Samir to make that happen for us?
Who do you think's going to win? Raf Esparza, Guy Mendez, or Samir Shanti?
Are you asking this now?
Yeah, I'm asking you right fucking now, Raf.
Oh,
Fucking now, man.
Calm down. Calm down.
Sorry, I don't know what came over me.
I don't either. You need to
Hey,
cool it.
many tried to match this before and always fail. So.
It's true. And I'm going for Samir. He was I don't know. I figure he's the underdog here. I want to see an underdog like him win.
Yo tambien. Zach Maxwell versus Sean Roberts. I believe Maxwell to be the favorite in this fight now.
Interesting. When did you pick that up?
Since people started talking about how Zach Maxwell's really been doing this forever. He has a lot of respect. Sean Roberts does a lot more competition, but this is a 20-minute submission only.
Yep.
Where are you at?
I mean,
Where are you at?
I would like to see Sean Roberts win.
Yeah, purely from a Nuwaza perspective. Shout out. Wonder if he'll be rocking some Nuwazizzle.
I've always liked Sean. I like Zach too. They're both friends of the podcast. There's something about Sean's style that is unique, and anybody who watches videos that intently to the point of becoming a serial creepster, you just gotta root for them.
We have completely different ideas about what you have to do with the serial creepster, but that's different strokes, people.
Well, it keeps him from being a serial killer. Just keep that in mind.
Raf, any big M3 roundup predictions? Do you think they'll release G and Agi, the sequel that I know?
If they do drop it, and in the middle of it they perform live with Holic up on the stage,
I'll catch a flight at that moment to go see it.
I may have to get a paper that says I understand what the rules are about filming here, but I must film this.
I'm afraid I can't let it pass.
I feel for the sake of humanity, I am taking one, and I will be a prisoner of war. Thank you.
Raf Esparza out.
Tell the good story, Kevin. Live to tell my story.
Metamoris 3. Raf Esparza selflessly donating.
One more thing before we close this out. Guess what they have on here? They have match voting, Kevin.
Yes. I can't wait. I'm going to vote the shit out of it.
Get this. You can now sign up to become an official Metamoris non-monetary bettor.
I'll take it.
I love that they very, very, very much need to specify non-monetary bettor.
I have been called way worse.
So get this. The betting system will add up in your individual profile over the span of many events, and the most successful bettors will receive perks for future events, i.e., tickets, prizes, although that should be in parentheticals, but that's neither here nor there.
It sounds like it's a little bit here and a lot there.
I don't want to, Yay, Metamoris. Okay, so credits gained for correct votes. 1,000 credits for voting a draw. 100 credits for voting a submission win. 500 credits for voting before or after 10-minute mark, and 1,000 credits for voting the actual submission category.
Wow.
And it also has a note that says credit lost for incorrect votes. Kevin,
How dare
ask
you.
me how much you lose for
How much-
incorrect votes.
How much do you lose for incorrect votes?
0 credits, Kevin. You can
Yes! Woo! Finally, some gambling I can get behind.
So I think what we should do, log in to place your vote. Okay. We should do this. Yeah, let's
Absolutely,
do
we
that
should.
because you already signed in. You're a user. Let's see what happens. Let's have you go and do that. That'll be fun.
I'm looking forward to it. Metamoris 3, March 29th. Raf will see you there. Raf, what a effing podcast. We talked to Clark Gracie, the world's most photogenic omoplata in. How would you say it?
I say I don't give a shit. Like I look somebody in the face and I go, "It's an omoplata."
Okay.
You
Well,
can tell
I'll
me
keep
it's
working
fucking
on a
wrong.
tactful way while you just bludge force your way through it. But you are right nonetheless, sir. We talked some Metamoris. We had a blast. Are you ready to rock this podcast into well, are you going to propose to us? Are you going to
No.
propose? It's not like a thing you're doing. You're not proposing to
No,
everyone.
it's
That's
not
important. Raf,
not
hey,
recurring-
first of all, please do not put us in the back seat of your life. That's what's not happening. And any insinuation that we are not your utmost priority, and I'm going to piss a fit.
God damn it! Don't make me write vows to you fucking too, because Kevin,
That would be
I'm-
extraordinary.
I'm super happy and super excited, and you're a giant girl about this whole process.
I'm going to buy
So-
wedding magazines. Like, you should do samples. I think gray is obviously the traditional choice, but a good navy might really make you stand out, Raf.
Okay, thank you.
Maybe something with, like, a little sparkle to it when the light hits it right.
I
I'm
may
not-
have to talk
I'm throwing
Kelly
suggestions.
into doing a really long engagement so that you can get married first, so that I can do all of these things to you instead.
Good luck, Rap. Good luck with that strategy. Everyone that listens to this podcast ever is like, oh, okay, Rap. You done lost it. That's not going to work. Like, you're so obviously getting married before I am.
Dare.
For-
I love that. That's what it is. Sorry, Kelly. Kevin dared.
I won't get married before him. That's just it. That's all I'm saying. Oh, this is why you pay us the big bucks, people. Raf, are you ready to get to some shout outs?
Of course.
Of course. You're such a gentleman. I just pulled the mic right off, so maybe I should give a shout out to Barefoot Winery for that extra kick in your Riesling. 'Cause it just made me crush the mic a little bit. BJJ and MMA Academy out there in Chantilly, VA, No Concept over in Maryland, doing great work. Please, if you're out in Kansas City and you're looking for some personal training needs, go talk to Travis Conley. He was over on Bellator. He was hanging out in LC Davis's corner this last Friday. Really fun to see. Great stuff happening over there. Please subscribe on iTunes. Listen to the show. Give us a little rating if you get a chance. 5 stars. Just a little rating of 5 stars. And maybe leave a comment that talks about how handsome I am, even though it's obviously a podcast. You just assume. That'd be good for me. That's going to do it. Follow us on Twitter at VerbalTapCast as I transition to Mr. soon-to-be Mr. Raf Esparza.
It's still going to be Mr. Raf Esparza. I don't think any of that changes.
I think it... No, you're not. It'll... Trust me, Raf. Some things are going to...
Okay. Thanks, Kevin. I love that you are providing all of the insight of never having gone through this before.
You're welcome. Oh,
All right.
wait. One more shout out
Okay.
to the Smash House. I'm friends on Snapchat with Frankie Lester, and everyone else should be too, if he likes you enough. And I saw that he and Bubba, I think the Smash House is taking a break, which is really sad. So shout outs to that, to the Smash House.
Oh no, not a
And to
break.
Frankie. Called me super late the other night because they're on a different time zone. So, good stuff.
Good for them.
They're the best.
Yeah, well, we're sending our good thoughts out to them. All right, let's start with the first shout out, which is going to be to Valley Martial Arts Center.
Matt.
That was slightly offbeat, but okay.
It was basically that thing you do of VMAX.
Ugh, okay. What's up, everybody? It was good to hear that our friend Octavio, I always like to give him shit because every time I introduce him to people, I say Octavio, even though I want to really say Octavia so that people can make fun of him.
First of all, that just could happen to anyone. It's a very common mistake.
I know, but it's just so mean and it's unnecessary, and sometimes I do it just for fun. But to Octavio, I just want to say congratulations on your recent promotion, man. You deserved it so much. Valley Martial Arts Center celebrated their 3rd-year anniversary, and Octavio was one of the people who got selected to be promoted at that night. So it was a very special night for everybody there that I missed because I was actually going down to San Diego. So they picked a hell of a night to have a 3rd-year anniversary. And Kevin, I don't know if you know this, but it is very telling. If you make it to 3 years as a gym, it does tend to indicate that you will do better as a business, that you have some staying power. So not just my gym, but also good news for Kevin's gym as well.
Absolutely, these are good. I was like, and we're not terribly far away from that ourselves, Raf.
That's right.
Climbing up that ladder.
Be slowly but surely getting our way to there, but pish posh, we've got plenty of time for that. My thanks to everybody, all the great instruction there, all the good training partners. Also in San Diego, my family. It was so good to see everybody, and I had such a great time seeing
wedding. You were at a
people
wedding.
At a wedding. Yeah, I was at a wedding the night before. The thing about going to these weddings that's always so funny is I have 2 cousins who trained and actually were fighting MMA, and one of whom I got to see. And I told him, I was like, on the podcast, we said you're a dipshit for fighting. So don't be fighting anymore. He's like, no, I'm not fighting anymore. I'm just trained. I was like, oh, I've done my job. Good work. I was like, I can't see you fight. I can see other people fight. I can't see you. And by the end of it, we start talking. And he's just saying some really cool things about MMA, and it's really funny. And by the end of it, he's like, I got to go up there and train with you. And I was like, yup. You have to come kick the shit out of me. So please do. Younger
awesome.
cousin, that'll be tons of fun. He's a great wrestler, really really nice guy. So props to him and all my other family members who I saw this weekend. There are too many. It's a Mexican family. There are too many to name, but you all know who you are.
Been there.
Great wedding, and it's one of those things where when you go to a wedding, it's like, oh my god, everybody just clicks. You ever have one of those weddings?
Yes, I actually know exactly what you're talking about, and it's rare, but it's amazing.
Yes, and it's one of those things where everybody clicks and everybody has a good time, and oh man, it's you just sit there and just have so much fun with everybody. So really really cool day, and to the lovely bride and groom, you guys couldn't have been more delightful. So props to you and your new journey. So exciting to see you, and welcome to the family. Anyway, that was cool stuff. And to all the people who helped make, I guess, my engagement work so effortlessly, thank you guys so much. We had people who were in on it who didn't know. We had people who were basically calling us and saying congratulations to us. And it was a really cool and special moment for me and Kelly. And we were driving back up, and we got so many calls and texts, and we just want to say thank you. We haven't had the chance to respond, I think, even a portion of these. So we're going to work our way up and get through those.
So many likes on Facebook earlier.
Well, she's very popular, and I just happen to be there. So it really works out nicely.
And I photo well, so...
You
naturally.
No, thank you. I just love the fact that, like, you know, Kevin, and he did say this maybe about a few minutes ago, but Kevin is one of the people who I did call because you know, you do this podcast with him and you're like, hey, I might not be around for a little while. You might have to cover for it. But no, Kevin was so great, and it was cool to call him and let him know before we went, you know, Facebook official, I guess, if you would. And Kevin was so happy for us, but definitely did tell us over the phone, I will be buying you magazines.
Oh, you and I have a lot of wedding planning to do, my friend.
We do. I am not planning a wedding.
I have to run so many ideas by you.
You have to run 0 ideas by me. I have to run all of my ideas by Kelly, so therefore, any idea you run by me just stops there.
I'm thinking, obviously, people are going to expect you to have some gi material in the tux, but why not go gi tie, Raf, and really shake things up? But, you know, like I said, there's time.
Well, there's plenty of time, and I'm sure you guys will hear all of our hilarious escapades as we are now.
Obviously, a black belt's marrying you. I mean, don't be disrespectful.
Yeah, I do. Do I have to ask permission for that? Do I have to go up to a black belt and ask permission to get married?
Yeah, you don't just get married.
Was I supposed to have done that at my gym?
Probably.
Oh, fuck. I totally.
What the fuck were you thinking? Where have you been? Where's your head, Raf?
I don't know. I didn't know you had to ask permission.
It's a whole... Okay. Roll back the podcast. Take out all of the engagement stuff. Pull the article on Facebook.
Before we finish this,
get the rig back, Raf.
One promise to you all. We will not make this the Raf is getting married podcast. We will tell you funny stories that we think are worthy of occasionally mentioning. But we are not a fucking sitcom where we're going to be like, well, the podcast was great until Raf was getting married.
So everyone knows he's saying this just so he can get me on the record, promising not to talk about it a lot. That's what he's doing.
Fine. I don't mind talking about it.
It has nothing to do with the audience. Oh, this has everything to do with me, Raf, and message received.
It has everything to do with the audience, because the poor audience is going to get sick and tired of hearing, like, well, I went to go see a wedding planner today, and it was a rough day for me.
Yeah, but
by the way, UFC happened this weekend, but more on that later. Shout out.
We get to hear about cake testing. It's like I was gonna cut weight, but then I had to try their chocolate peanut butter option, and it'll fuck you in the mouth. Is all I'm saying.
I never tried to cut weight though, so I don't think any of these are problems for me.
This has been Verbal Tap. We got Metamoris coming up this Saturday. Some Beasts from the East grappling. I am Kevin. Thank you very much for listening.
Good night and good Metamoris.
Didn't you want to ask the audience to marry you, Raf? Isn't that the...
Asking the fucking audience to marry you.
Who are you asking to marry you now?
You just sound like you're getting jealous at this point. You're just like, no, you haven't asked me once.